Press record. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Lana Hoover, and I'm the Community Engagement Specialist for the City of Sumner. And I'm joined with Ryan Windish. He's our Community Development Director. And today we're just going to kind of give an update on what has happened since coronavirus began, what we've been trying to do as far as with the businesses and you know, what our goals have been and the interactions and the support that we've tried to give, and kind of give an update there. And then Ellie is joining us also from the Pierce County Library System, and she's going to kind of give an update, I think, on the same thing and what they're doing. So without further ado, please make sure you mute your video or your audio. And then feel free to ask questions in the chat. Ryan and I'll be presenting most of it. Ryan's here as kind of backup support if there's any questions that I can't answer. So if you want to put some questions in the chat, we'll have time for questions at the very end, and so we can answer them then. So I will get going. Okay. Oh. All right. So I already did introductions. Like I said, Ryan and I are here to talk to you today. So what we're going to go over today is the Open in Sumner kind of focus that we've had throughout this pandemic. We're going to talk about just a little bit of how we got here today, what we offer as far as online city services and doing business virtually. The Open in Sumner Coalition that formed due to all of this, and then we'll talk a little bit about what is next and what next steps and what we're going to look forward to. So when this all started, we obviously have never in our lifetime been through something like this. So I think the focus at the city was first how we could continue serving the community to keep businesses, city business going, our services going. We have a sewer plant, we have parks, we have a lot of different utilities, and people need that to survive and to wash their hands and to live healthily. So that was the first thing we had to look at. And then we also were, you know, concerned for our businesses in town, because not only does it affect us as a business, but it affects everybody in the community. So continuing city business, right away. Oh, by the way, this photo here was taken prior to the mask regulations. So just so you know, this is not a current photo. Luckily, we already had a couple things in our pocket for services. We already had that you could pay your utility bill online. We already had non-emergency incident reports, pet licenses. I'm not sure if you all know, but Metro Animal Services serves quite a few cities around us, and that's actually run through the City of Sumner. Public records, permit forms, court dates, and then all of our council and committee meetings, those are already accessible as far as agendas and meetings. We had already started doing that online prior to this, so that was pretty helpful. Obviously, things changed and everything went even more virtual through this process. But luckily, we already had all the tools in our pocket to be able to have that stuff online. So for a progressive small city, that was a good thing that we had. And then again, public notices, those are already online as well. So that was good. Other things that we had already online were crime stats. I don't know if you guys know, but you can check out the crime stats on our website. Tons of forms, permit forms and things like that. I mean, obviously things slowed down in that realm for a little bit because of permitting in that. So we did, you know, have certain, Ryan could probably go into that, but we did have certain permits that obviously kept going through, but event permits per se obviously stopped for a bit. But all of that stuff was already accessible online. There's maps on the Sumner Link Trail, and then comment accessibility was already online. Social media wise, we have 3 accounts. Twitter is at City of Sumner WA, and that's kind of our go-to as far as up-to-date traffic reports or breaking news. I mean, it's also a fun account. There's some fun things and links. We try to promote stuff on it. But really, Twitter is kind of our go-to. If you need to know something right now, that's the one we use for that. In fact, we've posted a few things on Instagram as you know, news here and there, some maybe really important stuff. But for the most part, we just kind of back off on Instagram as soon as, and make Twitter the one. We don't want people yet. This could change, but we want people to know that they can get the information on Twitter, and right now not rely on Instagram for those kind of messages, just because we are a small staff as far as communications and social media go. So we have to be very, very mindful and careful that we don't give people the misconception that they can go to Instagram and find something right away. So that being said, Instagram is a very fun and important social media channel for us. It's been really neat to connect with the businesses that way. We've been able to share posts. We're unusual in this way as far as our Instagram account goes. There's other cities and municipalities that are actually discouraged from using or having businesses be included in their social media channels. I feel like we are business friendly and we hope to kind of support those businesses. So we don't have that outlook on it yet. Hopefully that never changes, but right now we do try to celebrate our businesses as much as possible. It's a little bit of a challenge sometimes because we want to make sure we don't leave anybody out. It's hard with this many businesses and that to include everybody, but we hope to kind of be fair and make sure that, you know, if somebody's doing something or if they have a picture, that we do try to share that. So that's been fun. And then Facebook, we actually don't have a city Facebook account. Our Facebook account is the Sumner Police Department account. We also do put news on that one. As you guys know, Facebook is a little easier to post, you know, messages in text form and that kind of thing. So we do sometimes go ahead and use the Facebook as an update. Like I said before, Twitter's our main go-to, but we do put some informational messages or traffic information or things like that on there. You cannot message for a police report though. So sometimes we have that issue where people go ahead and leave us a message and say, hey, my car was just stolen. Well, you still have to file a police report. So it's mostly informational. So those are our 3 social media channels. Another great tool. So this, we got, I don't want to say lucky because we did a lot of work beforehand trying to get this set up, but about 1.5 years ago, we found a program called Bang the Table, which is Sumner Connects, our website there. And it was created by some people who worked for a city and they wanted a way to interact and kind of come up with a way to make sure that the community can access the government a little bit more virtually, make us more accessible, and provide a bunch of tools that maybe a website wouldn't provide, such as polls, interactive maps, gosh, all kinds of things, video sharing. So Sumner Connects was something we'd worked on before, and this has been so important to us in this process. Let's see, I'm going to try to, whoops. Hold on, sorry. I should have thought about this more here. 1 second. I'm trying to get to my other. I was going to, hold on. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Sorry, just a minute, you guys. I'm new to flipping back through my screens here, so I'm just trying to get to the Sumner Connects screen. So just give me a second here. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Are you trying to go online and show them what's...
I am, and I have it up, but I don't know how to get out of my, out of this screen to get into the new one.
You have to, if you need if you're moving to a different screen,
Yeah.
you have to do a new share. I think it says at the top,
Okay.
and then select a different screen.
Ah, okay. Got it. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. Okay. So this is our Sumner Connects website. And we'll go through a couple of these other things here before, but this has been really helpful as far as I'll just go to this one right here just to show you. So we put this one up, our Loyalty Park Inclusive Playground. If you've driven by lately, Loyalty Park is getting a revamp. It's going to be an inclusive playground with all kinds of ramps and things like that so that everyone in the community can go ahead and use this park. But you'll see here that we have the capability of telling you who's listening, contact information. We have a timeline on most of them. We actually had a survey on this one that was a color choice. So it was kind of a fun way for the community to get involved. We had 144 responses. Purple and gold ended up being the winner, by the way. So if you go by and you see that, it was actually chosen by the people. So that was nice. But it really gave us a way of interacting with everybody and just giving us the capability to already have this tool in our back pocket. You'll see there's a ton of projects. I mean, there's some big ones on here. There's some small ones. There's a lot of different things on here. So I highly encourage you to go check it out. But it was a good tool, like I said, that we already had in our pocket. So that was good. Okay, now I see what we do. In fact, on Sumner Connects, because we had this tool already, every spring we have an open house. We've had from 50 to 500 people at our open houses, and we've been doing them every 6 months, one in the spring and one in the fall. And they were really kind of starting to get traction. In fact, our staff was saying, hey, when's our next open house? We were getting calls from the community. Do you have another open house? We really didn't want to lose that momentum. So we thought, well, let's go ahead and try to see if we can find a way to, oh gosh, I didn't want to do that. Sorry, you guys. I'm new to presenting here. So we wanted to find a way to go ahead and put our open house online. So if you go here to open house, you will see that we had our employees. This was very unusual. It was actually a lot of fun. But we gave our employees the freedom to go ahead and create their own open house video. We had a couple that were really interesting. I think Ryan has a past in video creation because his was quite professional. If you want to watch, his is the East Sumner Plan update here. We had one that started out, you'll see, you can't see it in the background, but, and I wasn't going to play it, but you'll see it started out as a fireside chat. He did a really good job, and it was very interesting and a lot of fun. But we also had someone recreate everything with Play-Doh, all kinds of things. That is still up. We haven't taken it down because we feel like a lot of these projects are still ongoing. But I encourage you to go take a look at that and watch the videos and you know, let us know what you think. There's even spots where you can still comment on the projects. Some of them, the comment period may have ended as far as decision making or that kind of thing, or you know, some of those are still up, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in Sumner. So then our next question, after we figured out how we were going to keep our city services running and what we were going to do, we decided that we needed to make sure we found a way to support you all as business owners and residents. It's in a small town like this, when Main Street and your businesses are that important, it's kind of scary as a city to think that you all could be struggling. And, you know, we have not been through something like this before, obviously. Luckily, we had a few, you know, connections with people, and we had a few ways that we could reach out to everybody. But immediately, Ryan mostly did a lot of work and community development and the rest of, you know, council, everybody on how to support the businesses and see what we can do and get to work. So we got together, decided for taking care of businesses. Well, first, the social media webinar series. Quite a few of our businesses, not all, a lot of them have a great big online presence already, but some of our businesses, maybe small home-owned businesses or brick and mortar that maybe are new, didn't have a big social presence. And we kind of identified that, and our hope was with series like this, information, that we could go ahead and help them get into the virtual world in the meantime to kind of support what they were already doing. Ryan did a bunch of personal check-ins with businesses. You guys have probably got the emails, but he was really good about, you know, trying to find those connections and say, hey, how can we help you? What do you need? We also used Instagram in this case too. There's a lot of businesses, like I said, we try to support them. There's a lot of Instagram businesses on Instagram. And so we actually used the message feature on that and kind of tried to connect with them that way. It was actually really successful. We had a lot of feedback and therefore got a lot of connections after that. It doesn't say it on here, but we also tried to connect with our regional connections, such as the chambers. There's the Chamber Collective from Bonnie Lake and Sumner and Buckley. And then there is the Puyallup Sumner Chamber. That's a really good partner for us. The Tacoma EDB, Tacoma Community Board. There's just a lot of connections, and we tried to make sure, I know Ryan and I at the beginning were on a webinar probably 6 hours out of the day trying to listen to everybody say, here's a resource, here's a support, you know, this is what we're doing, you can find this here. And so we really dove in and just kind of tried to learn as much as we could, just because for me personally, Ryan might have known more than I did, but for me personally, I didn't know even what a PPE was or a PPP or, you know, that kind of thing, because I'm not a business owner. So we really just tried to educate ourselves and then pass that on as much as we could. We tried to provide information on our website for businesses on available small business loans, grants, and federal stimulus packages. And I will show you that also. That was on our, let's see. I'm trying to get to my, excuse me, is my internet slow? We created this Taking Care of Business webpage on www.sumnerwa.gov. And the goal of that was try to, well, first of all, for, you know, up-to-date information on our responses. There's a different page for that you could go to, but it is all linked on this one. Businesses during construction, we had opened up the webinar series. We tried to put as much information and keep this up to date on relief loans, grants that were available for businesses, chamber grants and small business guides, the online marketing opportunities that the Sumner Downtown Association, they kindly offered to put business listings on there even if they weren't members. And then, like I talked about a second ago, we spoke with those regional partners and tried to talk about, you know, see what they were doing, and then we put that on there. And then also city utility bills. We offered that if you're having difficulty paying your bill, that you could email us and set up a payment schedule. We actually can't waive any city fees on utilities. We're not allowed to do that. We probably would have loved to, but we can't. So we did, though, postpone shutoffs and worked with the community as much as we could for payment schedules. We didn't want to do shutoffs because more importantly than anything right now is washing your hands. And so it didn't make sense to us as a city that we would shut off your water if you couldn't wash your hands. So yeah, we tried to do that. Just put other resources and connections as much as we could. We tried to, you know, keep this up to date. And then, like I mentioned, the social media grants. I don't know how many on this webinar have taken advantage of it, but we offered a grant for up to $250 for reimbursement for social media ads. We didn't tie it to any successes or failures or how many views. We just were trying to get an idea of, like I said, supporting the businesses virtually, trying to help them come up with ways that they could advertise themselves online. And it seemed like a pretty good way for us to reach out and to be able to help them do that. So that's still ongoing, and there's still grant applications available if anyone is interested on this call. You just go back to that Taking Care of Business page, and then there's a link on that. The Instagram loop giveaways, Sugar Babies actually put this together at the beginning. Like I mentioned, we had messaged on Instagram, and they all kind of got together, and I didn't even know what a loop giveaway was before this, but now all kinds of fun. It's just a way for you really to connect. You obviously, all these businesses that are shown here donated an item for a prize, and pretty much what anyone had to do was like their page and tag 3 friends, and then comment on one of the sites. So it was just really a good way for them to get that visibility and kind of free followers. But they did 2 different ones, and they were really fun, very successful. So that was kind of a neat thing that came out of this. And quite honestly, I don't know if just after this, if that wouldn't continue, because I've heard talk about a few others going on. So I think that could be an ongoing fun thing that everybody gave together. We also had a Dining from Sumner page that's also on Sumner Connects. And what we did on that was we have an option for GPS. So John Morgan, who is does our maps for us, we went through and listed all of the restaurants in Sumner. At the very beginning, when they weren't open, we went ahead and noted which ones had to go, and curbside, and their hours and contact information. But on that Sumner Connects page, like I mentioned, it has interactive, so you can actually pick which one you want. It shows you on a map where it's at, and the hours and drive through, or what was available at the time was on there. I will admit, I think it's been a week since we've looked at it, so things could, ever changing. There might be some information on there. It's very hard as a city to be able to, like I said, reach out to all of them. So we tried our best to make sure everybody was represented at least. And if we didn't have information on it, they were open or closed, at least a contact number so that we could try to support them. So that was a fun way to use Sumner Connects for that. And then the Open in Sumner Coalition. This kind of came out of Ryan's emails. I know Tammy and Calvary and the school district, Sumner Downtown Promotion Association, Jan, everybody kind of said, hey, how can I help? And really stepped up and offered and put a lot of work into this coalition, which is why these social media webinars are going on. The vision that was created was to safely reopen and thrive as a community in Sumner. And the purpose was to create a plan for reopening businesses in Sumner and try to inform the public and community. So the coalition actually met twice a week at the beginning, every Tuesday and Thursday. And then also we had an additional Monday meeting that we met with city staff and the mayor and Jason Wilson, our city administrator at first, to try to just kind of connect with those businesses, see what they needed. And like I said, everybody really stepped up. And so again, on Sumner Connects, we created a coalition page. Share that. So this Open in Sumner Coalition page not only tells a little bit about what I just mentioned, ways to join the meetings, and about the social media webinar series. Also had information on the grants. We put on here some logos and things that you could use in your business platforms or social media platforms for the Open in Sumner fonts. And then we provided all the agendas and documents and meeting notes, the draft plan, what the goals were at the beginning. We've included some important links on that. And then obviously Ryan's listening. And then we've included the social media webinar series. We've since gone down to 1 day a week just because to to be honest, a lot of the businesses are now back open, and it's very difficult for them to go ahead and meet twice a week. They're focused on their businesses again, which is encouraging and great. So we've just decided now to meet Thursdays at 8 a.m. 1 day a week. And that information on how to join those meetings, anyone is welcome to join and listen in. And that information is on our Sumner Connects page under Taking Care of Business or Open in Sumner Coalition. So now what's next? What's coming up for us? City Hall still remains closed. We will not open City Hall, I believe, until phase 3. We do have a lot of our directors going in a couple days a week, alternatively. Yeah. Many of the employees, like myself, I'm working completely remotely. Obviously, our in the field employees are still out, doing what they need to do, and making sure everything's taken care of for utilities and parks and all of that. We're wearing masks and doing what we need to do there, but that won't be open until phase 3. We're continuing to work with our regional partners. A lot of those webinars that we had before have slowed down a little bit, but to be quite honest, I think we could still be on a webinar 6 hours a day if we really wanted to. We're just really trying to make sure that we are focusing a little bit more now and keeping those connections going, but there's a lot of different things going on, and we're still trying to make sure we keep up on that. For summer events, we made the tough decision in April, I believe. The first event to cancel was the Daffodil Parade. That was hard to have that gone first time in 80 years. So that was difficult, but then it was looking like this wasn't going to improve. So we decided to make the tough decision to cancel all events through August. We just didn't have a way to monitor it, to make sure everybody was safe. And we felt like that just was the thing we needed to do. We do have a couple virtual events that are coming up. Our Arts Commission last year had a chalk festival, and they're going to continue that this year. It's just going to be virtually. So that will be August 9th through 15th. And they're just going to have you chalk in front of your house and turn it in. There'll still be prizes and things like that. Information on that is still to come as far as details go, but that is happening. So that should be fun. And then there are also Nights on Ryan was a new event that happened last year that had huge successes. And again, keeping that momentum going and needing something to do. They're still going to do the Nights on Ryan this summer. Those will run the same time as the Chalk Art Festival. And it's pretty much going to just be links to some of the vendors that we had last year. But it should be fun. And the Arts Commission's doing a really good job putting that together. So I'm excited about that. Oh, yeah.
I just wanted, they're going to do a virtual market, but not the Nights on Ryan.
Right. Yeah.
It's virtual.
Sorry.
It's
yeah.
okay.
All of it's virtual. Yeah. Council and commission meetings, those are all online now, but they're back to meeting. We're doing all of our design commission, parks meetings, forestry, arts commission, all of those are online. And it's going pretty good. I think we had enough time to practice Zoom with the millions of meetings we had before this. So they're going better. Those are available on our website under the calendar. And all you do is go to the calendar and click on the meeting, and it gives you the information on how to join virtually. So if you're looking for that information, that's where you go. You can also find past council meetings on that online services page that I referenced earlier in the webinar on our sumnerwa.gov website. And you can watch any past meetings that we've had during this time. And on that note, I just wanted to share that when phase 1 was in place, we actually weren't allowed to meet as a city unless it was regarding COVID. So if you feel like there was a little lapse in there, that's the reason why. It was mandated that unless it had to do with COVID, we weren't allowed to meet. So I just thought I'd share. And now we're just focusing on wearing our masks and socially distancing while we try to support our businesses and do what we can to keep each other safe. And and that's it. See what happens. So I think now maybe if you'd like, we can open it up for questions.
We do have a few questions already up, Lana, so I'll read them to you and
Okay.
we can answer them together, but you probably know the answer. First question, why doesn't the city of Sumner have its own Facebook account, I guess, instead of having just the police department account?
We had the Facebook account, was the first account that we actually had. Really, it's more of a one, staff time. There's a lot of staff time. There's a lot of messages, instant messages. We have, those are all open up to public disclosure. So we actually have to record all of those, and you know, all of that is city business that's open. So it's a lot of work to have a Facebook page, and we have a very small staff. Carmen is communications director. Right now, she's the only one there. I handle the Instagram account, and then Bree from our police department handles Facebook. We kind of back each other up if necessary, but even for one Facebook account, that it's a lot. And our legal department, again, you know, it's just, there's a lot of cities that don't have one at all. It's just a decision that may be changed someday. I think, you know, half of City Hall thinks that we should have a Facebook page and half of them don't. So I think it's just a decision to make. Right now, I'm going to be honest, it's a time issue. We've got a lot on our plates, and we don't have a social media team. We all kind of wear many hats, and it would be daunting. I have a friend that works for a company. They have 14 people that work in their social media department, and all they do is monitor social media. So you can imagine if we have to, it's a large company, but still, if we have to kind of make sure that we monitor those and record everything as public disclosure, it's just a lot of work on the back end that people might not see on a regular Facebook page.
All right. The other question, can you explain what Nights on Ryan is, and what is a virtual market, and how does that work?
Nights on Ryan was a really cute event that the Arts Commission started last year. Artisan vendors, and so they had some food and live music. We closed off Ryan Avenue, which is the one that has the lights over right across from Trackside between Craft 19 and North Light Interiors. And they just brought in a lot of vendors. So a virtual market, I don't exactly know how that looks, but Courtney, who's in charge of it on our Arts Commission, is very talented and tech savvy. I believe it's probably going to be more links to the vendors' websites or Facebook pages, so that if there's something that you saw last summer that maybe you liked again, you could go ahead and go over to it. They do have a Facebook page. So the Arts Commission, City of Sumner Arts Commission does have a Facebook page. I believe it'll be on that, but I don't know if any of you subscribe to our e-news, but that is our community connection, and it's a weekly newsletter that we send out via email. You can sign up for that on our website, sumnerwa.gov, but that should have more information on it. The Arts Commission is meeting next week to kind of discuss this, so I don't have a ton of information for you, but I do know it's August 9th through 15th, and it's all virtual, and I believe it just links to some of the wares that they're selling.
So one other question, have events been canceled through a specific date? Are there plans for events when we get to phase 3 or 4? And I can respond to that one. We aren't going to be able to move into any kind of events in a real way until we get to phase 4. I mean, events that we're used to, like the big downtown events that bring in more than 200 people. Phase 3, I mean, there may be some options, but you know, as you look around the county, around the country, any events that of any size or scale, they've canceled them. And we don't know, right, when we're going to even go into phase 3. It all depends on how our numbers go with infection rates and mortality rates and that kind of thing. So we are just kind of waiting and seeing how this goes. Another question is, how has the cancellation of events hurt the city of Sumner's revenue? It has an impact for sure. I can tell you the shutting down the businesses like we did, like shutting down the economy, has had a huge impact on Sumner's budget as we're looking ahead. And we are planning, we're in the middle of budget planning right now and developing a budget for the next 2 years. And it's had a huge, huge hit. I think from the events, a lot of what the events do, of course, is promote Sumner as a destination. It highlights our businesses. So from that, we haven't really put numbers to what the events impact not having events would have to revenue, but definitely is having an effect.
I'd add to that we really try to support our events as much as we can. There's a lot of impact to a city when you close down a road for an event and things like that. So that being said, like Ryan said, it's more of the promotion of Sumner and the sense of community that I think makes us feel the biggest loss. And to be honest, we've had so many event permits come in still. It's been difficult to turn them down because, we want events to come back as much as everyone else. So it's been really hard for us to have to say no. Right now, what I'm telling people is that, I will accept a permit for September, but we're not accepting payment or anything like that. We're not really saying, yeah, it's accepted. I'm saying I'll take your event permit application and I will have to let you know. And that doesn't mean it's happening. And I'm being quite honest with them and saying, we don't know, and it's going to be a while before we can do that. But we haven't got any directives as far as, saying absolutely no, because it's a difficult decision for everybody. But like Ryan said, I don't anticipate large events for quite some time. In fact, a lot of other cities, we meet weekly with events teams or people that plan events, parks and rec departments and that sort of thing. Meet weekly with them twice a week on a couple days, and they're already talking about virtual Christmas tree lightings. So the impacts seem long lasting. But we have, groups, Arts Commission, Tammy with her I Heart My Community, the library, everybody's really trying to do things virtually. So that's been great. So thank you to everybody that is trying to support and do other things to make it still fun.
I also had a question about the Sumner Y. When might they open? I think they're phase 4, maybe phase 3, some minor, with some program adjustments, but really they're phase 4 kind of a business. Well, we should probably have Ellie go.
Yeah. Take it away, Ellie.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ellie Cromini, and I am the Adult Services Librarian at the Sumner Pierce County Library. I just wanted to give a quick update on what we're doing in terms of service right now, some of the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then I have a fairly short presentation to walk through some of the library resources that we have available that might be particularly interesting to small businesses, some of the research tools and other things that we offer. So just start by saying that while the library remains physically closed for now, we are still open online. We have a number of online programs available through Facebook, mostly for kids and families at this point. We also have a number of programs and like asynchronous programs, so craft ideas, all kinds of things on our teen services Instagram. And I will just pop that in the chat so people know what that is in case you have any teens that might be interested in. Let's see. So open in a physical, not open in a physical sense. We have had staff return to our buildings, and we have opened book drops at all of our locations with the exception of the location that we run on Anderson Island. So we do have 20 branches that are accepting returns at this point. And the the most exciting piece is that we are preparing to offer curbside service beginning next week. So we do have staff in buildings this week doing test runs. We've sent out a number of emails to user testers to come in and make sure that our process works and that it's going well. The way that curbside service will work is that we will be making an appointment online or over the phone with the branch to come pick up holds that you have placed at a specific date and time. We have all sorts of procedures in place for cleaning, for proper social distancing, for wearing of masks, and we are just really excited to see people back and able to access physical materials. At the same time, we still have, of course, access to all our electronic resources. We have purchased a number of additional copies of e-resources and audio resources so that there can be simultaneous use of those. And we also continue to have access through our website to a number of databases. So if you have kids at home, or you need to do research, or you just are looking to learn something new or have some fun, those e-resources are always available. If anyone has any questions about our reopening, please let me know. You're welcome to pop a question in the chat, or I can take them at any time, but we are really happy to have people back. The public announcement on curbside should be going out on Monday, so just stay tuned for that, and at that point you will be able to make an appointment. We hope to see you soon. And then I will just continue by giving walking through some of our online resources that I think would be appropriate for small business. So, oops. So let me pull up. Okay. So let's see, just to begin, I would like to note, in case you are not aware, that the library does offer a service which is called Book a Librarian, which is something where we offer one-on-one help for anyone with tools like databases, reference and research questions, or one-on-one tech help. The tech help kind of runs the gamut, from anything like helping someone set up an email account when they have never had it, to assistance using a particular database or a tool like Instagram. The way that the service works is that typically you would contact us through a form on the Pierce County Library Assistance website, which will route you to the branch closest to you and then put you in contact with one of our librarians who will reach out, get some information from you about what you're looking to learn and when you're available, and then we would set up that appointment for you to come in. Now, because we are closed in a physical sense right now, and because we are doing a presentation for the city of Sumner and open in Sumner, I'm going to suggest that folks contact me directly. I'm typically the one who does these appointments in our branch, so my contact information will be at the end of the presentation. So if you know anyone that is interested, or you're interested yourself in making an appointment, please do reach out to me. I'm currently doing appointments over the phone and by Zoom, and I've also been able to help some people by email just by answering specific questions. The other thing I think I already noted is that our e-resources are always available, and so we offer easy access to a number of premium databases, some of which are particularly appropriate for small business or large business, and you can access those with a Pierce County Library card. I will quickly walk through how to get a card if you don't have a card already. If you go to our homepage, which is piercecountylibrary.org, you will see at the bottom a button that says Get Your Card. And you will first apply for an e-card. So if you don't already have a physical card, you can apply for an e-card simply by clicking on the Apply Online link. It will take you to a screen where you'll fill out information such as your name and address, and you will immediately be issued an e-card number. You can typically turn this e-card into a physical card at your local library, but because we are not open, e-cards are able to be used for anything. So this means that if you do not currently have a physical card, but you register for an e-card, you will at this point in time be able to access curbside service. Normally, you would need a physical card to check out physical items. So let's see. I just want to walk through a couple of ways you can access the databases once you're on our website. So you already have a library card, or you registered and have an e-card number. Then you can go online and access these databases. To do so, you would navigate from our services tab on the left-hand side to a list of e-resources. And it's a very long topical list, and there are a number of databases listed under business and investing. The easier way to navigate is through our Job and Business Center. So again, you'd go to our homepage at piercecountylibrary.org. You click on the Job and Business Center link here, and then you end up at a page that looks like this. So most of the resources that are going to be appropriate, I think, for folks on this webinar or for folks watching the recording are going to be in the Start a Small Business section. And this is a little bit of a misnomer because these resources, I think, are applicable to anyone who is either starting a small business or currently running a small business. They're just framed this way because of the way the Job and Business Center was built. If you click on the Job and Business Center and start a small business, you will then be routed to this page where you have many different options. Because I think most folks that will be watching this webinar are already maybe owners or assisting small businesses that are in existence, we're going to focus on resources that would be appropriate for those folks now. Please just note that there are a number of resources that are specific to getting financing, writing business plans, and setting up a small business. So if those are things that you're interested in and you do have questions that I don't address in this quick presentation, please let me know and I'd be happy to walk you through those one-on-one. So the first thing I want to cover is a number of resources that we have available for conducting market research. This can be helpful at any stage of your business for doing competitive analysis, for getting to know who your customers are, and to learn more about the market landscape. So if you click on that, you'll be routed to a page that lists a number of databases, and these are a few of the ones I'm going to talk about. I think I'll just go back to this page for a second. I'm just going to note that these are subscription databases and they are very expensive. So if you wanted to purchase them for yourself, it'd be extremely cost prohibitive. That's, I think, why it's a big bonus that these are offered free through the library system for you to do research on your own or with the assistance of a librarian. I'm just going to talk through the ones I think folks probably won't be most familiar with, which are Business Source Complete, Demographics Now, and Mergent Intellect. And then I'll talk about some other ones that might be helpful as well for some aspects of running your business. So I just want to walk through, I'm not going to take the time on this webinar to really teach you how to use these, because most of them are fairly intuitive. However, showing the intricacies of each one would take a significant amount of time. So that's where I would, again, encourage you to make an appointment. But I just want to show you some highlights of what is in each of the databases so that you kind of know what they might be useful for or what to ask about. So the first one is the Business Source Complete, which is going to look similar to this when you log in. And again, all you need to log in is that library card number or the e-card number. The most helpful thing to folks on this one, unless you're in a large business setting, would probably be the market research reports. These are reports that have been compiled that walk through a number of different industries and highlight particular insights, emerging trends, include data and statistics, and can just be helpful to give kind of an overview of an industry. They're updated on a regular basis. So just doing some poking around and prep for this webinar this week, I've noticed that some of them have been updated post COVID-19. So they might be useful in seeing what other people are doing in your industry or what kind of trends are emerging as a result of the pandemic. The next one I want to highlight is Demographics Now. This is a really powerful database. There are a lot of ways to use it. And the cool thing about it is that you can really drill down to your specific area. So if you're interested in knowing more about who your customers are or other businesses in your area, this one is particularly helpful. You can drill down by zip code. You can drill down by neighborhood. You can create a custom map of an area. So if you're interested in knowing what sits in the immediate area around you and how those businesses are doing, Demographics Now is a great tool. You can do a lot of in-depth market research with it. The demographic information that's contained in Demographics Now can be super useful for business plans, or if you're considering making service updates as a result of COVID-19. I will say, like, an example of how someone might use this in terms of a service update is that you might be wondering where to put resources in terms of social media. And this would tell you if your customers are using Facebook or Instagram or something else, or they're not using social media at all. So it can be particularly helpful. It also may help you, if you don't already know who they are, identify some competitors, either direct competitors or indirect competitors. And the last database I kind of want to highlight in this category is Emergent Intellect. This one has a lot of financial information in it. I would say it's less suitable for small business, more so for big business, but has overlap for both. It again is useful for discovering industry trends and profiles, and it's updated fairly regularly. So has been updated post COVID-19. Might find some useful information there. And like I said a minute ago, it does also have a fair amount of pretty detailed financial information on companies. So these can be useful for you and your business, but they also can be particularly useful, like just for your own, information. And next, I wanted to highlight some of the databases and resources that we had available If you're not interested in conducting market research, but maybe you want some tools or tips on how to manage your small business, or you're looking to use some of your time right now to learn new skills or to help your employees learn new skills. So we would go back to the Job and Business Center and start a small business, but this time you would select Manage Your Small Business to get to these resources. And here are some of the databases that are included in that section. I'm just going to highlight two of them I think that are most applicable to you, but I will also try to explain the others as well. You may be familiar with lynda.com. It contains a lot of information and courses on many subjects, and Universal Class is very similar. So those are the two I just want to highlight. So lynda.com has a number of prepackaged webinars on tons of topics. So if there's a new piece of software that you're looking for, it's very likely that they have a course on how to use it. If you feel like your Excel skills could use some assistance, it's very likely that they have a course that will be applicable. They also have some pre-packaged small business playlists that might be useful. And this is where lynda.com has done the work to research like different types of courses within their universe that fit into categories. So you can see if you click on, for example, the Small Business Survival Kit, it will then take you to a portal that includes a number of courses that they deem survival courses for small businesses. So you don't have to do the searching to find out, you know, all these courses would fit for me. You can kind of click there first and they're already prepackaged. So those are just a couple, I just put a couple of bullet points there of things that are available on Lynda. It's incredibly comprehensive. So I've had people come in and use it to learn how to do things on Facebook, how to do things on Instagram, QuickBooks, Excel, Word, you name it, they probably have a course. Universal Class is somewhat similar, but it's a lot less tech-based. So this is where you're going to be learning some of your soft skills, and it can be particularly helpful if you have employees or if you yourself want more information on a particular subject, but let's say you don't have the financial resources to attend a particular class or you can't find one. This is a great place to go to. So I've just listed here a couple of bullet points on classes that I found in Universal Class that could be applicable to folks on this webinar. So again, I just want to mention you can contact me directly for help with learning more about any of these databases, for learning how to use any of the databases, for reference or research help, which is if you have a particular question, like I'm looking for information on this, then I could help you find out where to find that information. Or one-on-one tech help with tools like Word, Excel, setting up email, all sorts of things. And again, typically we do those by 30 to 60 minute in-person appointments, but right now we're doing them on Zoom or by phone. And that is I'm happy to answer any questions. My email is on this slide if you are interested in making an appointment. If you have follow-up questions about any of these databases, I would be happy to have you contact me to make an appointment and to hopefully have you back in the building very soon.
Thank you, Ellie. That was great. I can't believe how many resources you have, and that's pretty amazing. I will follow up everybody with, first of all, does anybody have any questions for Ellie first? Or I don't see any in the chat. Looks like a couple people have to leave, so.
I had a quick question, Ellen. I guess it's the million-dollar question. Thank you so much for your presentation, by the way, and Lana too. It's so helpful. The million-dollar question is: do you have any idea when the library will be open? Are you a phase 4 organization, or?
We are a phase 3 organization. We are doing a lot of planning right now for how we can open in phase 3 and what that looks like in terms of social distancing and with cleaning protocols and sanitizing things. So we will be working on that more, but yes, we are phase 3. So phase 2, we're authorized to do curbside service and online service, and then phase 3, hopefully we will be able to open at least in a limited way for people to come in the building, because I know in addition to those physical resources that can be checked out, there is a large need for the resources inside the building that cannot be checked out, i.e. computers and internet access, that we want to have available as soon as possible, but of course in a safe way.
Yes.
I imagine that we will continue, despite what phase we're in, a number of programs online. So just because they've been so popular, and for kids and families in particular, we know that schools are in an interesting place, and families are in an interesting place deciding, whether their students will be going back full time or doing some combo learning, or will be, at home. So I do anticipate that we will be continuing to offer a lot of services, through Zoom or Facebook Live or other online channels, regardless of whether the doors open.
Yeah, that's great, Ellie, because I know, those that are visually impaired and blind, I know they really depend on the mailed, the resources that you have. And I'm assuming you probably can't do that right now, mailing out books on tape and stuff like that. Or are you providing that for those that are visually impaired?
We cannot. Those folks may be able to access service through Watable, which is the Washington Talking Book and Braille Library. I'm not sure what they're offering in terms of service, but as soon as we open curbside, which like I said should be on Monday, they'll be able to access things directly, and can do that by booking an appointment online or calling the library, and we can book an appointment for folks. We are simply encouraging people to book appointments so that we can control the volume for staffing levels, and so that we can make sure that we can have folks appropriately social distancing when they come to pick up materials.
Wonderful.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Like I said, I will follow up with an email to anybody that registered for today's webinar with the information on how to contact Ellie. What I was going to do was to go ahead and show you guys the Open in Sumner video that the cannery went ahead and graciously put together and offered to help. So with that, thank you for joining us. I will sign off as soon as this video is over, and please feel free to contact myself or Ellie if you have any questions, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody. So here we go. Oops. Okay, well, can you hear me talk? Okay, well, it's on YouTube. I can send you guys the link also to the video so that you can watch it with actual sound, because I'm sure it looked a little bit weird right there, but I will follow up with an email, and thank you all for joining us, and hope you come visit us soon safely with your masks and socially distant. Thank you.